Welcome to episode 5 of SCCG Track Record. This episode we talk about revolutionizing gaming technology, which has really been the hallmark of our 33 years in the gambling industry. Beginning in 2004, I started attending the trade shows across the US, whether it be Native American gaming or it be shows like G2E, and I began paying attention to the technologies that would create efficiencies. It could be technologies around how cards were shuffled. It could be technologies around how to maximize hotel room rates at different times of the year. It could be technologies around simplifying point of sale systems. It could be technologies around how to create more activity on the slot machines or table games, or how to market to our customers who demonstrated different levels of loyalty towards the casino. And as I paid attention to those processes and I began to attend these trade shows, I began to come into contact with visionary entrepreneurs who were pursuing different solutions. What I noticed about the gaming industry in the US was that often it was the entrepreneur that would innovate, and it would be the bigger companies that would purchase and consolidate those inventions and put them into their distribution networks. And so once I became aware of that, I focused on meeting as many of these tech entrepreneurs as I could who were focusing in the gambling industry, picking out the best inventions and using my knowledge and my connections within the gambling industry to help distribute and refine those products. And that became my business model at the very beginning of my casino process in 2004. When we took ownership of 6 hotel casinos in downtown Las Vegas, I began to become very aware of our operations and how we could achieve efficiencies within our 7,500 member team running 6 different hotel casinos. There were layers of technology, layers of processes, many of them manual. There were slot machines and table games that needed to be accounted for. There was bingo and keno that had to be ran across different areas within the casino. There was hotel operations, there was food and beverage, all of them revenue centers within the casino, each of them having different technologies, each of them requiring different staff to run those technologies. And I became acutely aware of how achieving efficiencies in those processes would result in profits going to the bottom line. A lot of times when you're in the business of finding best-in-class technological innovation, the risk is that you're too late. And so we never were too late to something. If anything, we were too early. So sometimes the risk is we would get involved too early in the cycle, and it would take a lot of management of scarce resources in order to have the staying power to be around when technologies would mature. I remember as an example that ticket in, ticket out, which is now common in almost 100% of the slot machines worldwide, that in the US, that technology, which ended up saving 25% to the bottom line by getting rid of people who would handle coin in, coin out, that technology took 11 years to be adopted. So the cycle was quite long. When I look at what happened during COVID with different cashless payment, that was something that had been talked about for decades, but it happened almost overnight in the gambling industry when COVID happened because we needed to have a cashless system. There was concern associated with handling money at the level of the slot machine or the table game. Now we have casinos that have cashless wallet exchanges between the wallet and the table or slot machine and vice versa. This was an innovation that just took a mere years to accomplish, whereas in the previous time it took decades. And so this is always the challenge with innovation. It is timing the market right so you're not too soon. You certainly don't want to be too late, and you want to pick technology where in essence the USP, the unique selling proposition, gives it an advantage in the marketplace, either from an efficiency, a return on investment, a price point. These are the things we look for when we're evaluating technology. In the early days when we were backing new technologies, we always had to confront the established norms within the industry, the naysayers, the people who didn't want to see change. And we always were bucking that trend. We were always being a contrarian and looking to be a disruptor. and to do things and think about things differently. And so sometimes that's a very lonely position to be in, to be a crusader for change in an industry that doesn't want to see change. Gaming hasn't traditionally been a leading indicator. It's been a lagging indicator, and we have been, I think, a bright spot in that story because we're not afraid to take a chance and be a leader, even if it's against the current position. So I view us as visionaries who attach our distribution know-how, our relationships in the industry globally. We attach that to innovators, to entrepreneurs, inventors, and together we form a very powerful venture. We form a very powerful partnership to bring the industry to new heights. And that's what I think has made us different as a player, and one with longevity over many years, many decades of experience. I would say as I look back at our almost 35-year history, I do think our early involvement in table games and creating efficiencies around that aspect, it's a very labor-intensive part of the gambling offering. We were able to create efficiencies, and by moving electronics, create other ways to create side bets and revenues, make it easier to interchange content. I think that's an area where we definitely excelled. I think over the years we've been leaders in CRM, customer relation management. We've been leaders in loyalty management. We've been leaders in gamification. If you look at our over 150 client partners from across the globe now, and we look at sports betting and skill-based gaming and online gaming or live casino, when you look at the content, when you look at the gamification layers, when you look at the loyalty features, we have shown the willingness to take a gamble, to be leaders in innovation, to back new technologies, to expand distribution. I would say to this very day, we have really succeeded in so many areas that affect both the brick and mortar casino and the online experience. And now, as we consider the metaverse, we consider blockchain technologies, we consider the advent of crypto and other forms of payment technologies. We're just continuing to take it to new levels and new heights as the industry expands and matures across the globe. I would say that we've distinguished ourselves in a number of areas. First has been in the evolution of table gaming. In the old days, of course, it was the traditional felt games where it would be a big cost to try to change those games out. So they would go with winners, and it was very hard to get new games into the marketplace. But over time, what we would do is add electronics to the tables, and those electronics allowed for easier adoption of side bets, creating other revenue opportunities on the table game. We had shoes that could memorize the cards that were coming out and create other opportunities for betting and would create better table management systems. And so what I did was invest in companies that were the early innovators in moving towards electronic table games, and two of those that come to mind are DigiDeal, which later sold to IGT, and a company called TableMax, which was a fully automated table which sold to Galaxy Gaming, a public company. And so we were early on in that progression. Now 25 to 30% of all table games are fully electronic, and that allows for lower denomination play. It allows for better tracking by the casino. It allows for better cost utilization in terms of the expense associated with live dealer. It allows for the adoption of content on a more regular basis. So it allows you to diversify the content because it's easier to do this with electronic formats. And so that's one area. We also innovated in the early days with Las Vegas Gaming, where we dealt with screen-within-the-screen technology for slot machines, allowing for additional messaging with customers at the slot machine, allowing for additional gamification. As I look at what lies ahead in the decades to come, I can look at the decades in the past as a way to inform, educate us, and show us the way forward. In the future, we're going to be dealing with the advent of AI and machine learning. We're going to be dealing with the metaverse and alternative realities, alternative universes that we can offer content. We're going to be dealing with more sophisticated payment mechanisms and ways to transfer value for the entertainment that we receive. We're going to be looking at different distribution channels for that entertainment as we're seeing new media collide with old media to create some really interesting channels for the gambling industry. And we're looking at global expansion into new markets like Brazil most recently, Asia, maybe Thailand coming online with casinos, India moving from skill-based gaming to online gaming, Dubai with casinos, or the Emirates with casinos, and maybe more. And so I would say that our past will inform the future. We will approach it with the same risk-taking, open-mindedness, ability to take on traditional norms and challenge it with a contrarian view, back entrepreneurs, back innovation, really strive to create change within the industry. I see this as part of our pedigree and something that will give us an advantage as the industry changes. All I can say is that what used to take decades now happens in moments. And so you have to be more nimble, more ready for change. And I feel, given our history, our track record, that's exactly where SCCG has positioned itself for the decades to come. Thank you for joining us for the SCCG Track Record series covering technological innovation. The next episode will deal with our foray into esports and innovation around esports as content and as gamification and gambling. It's been a pleasure to talk to you about some of the highlights in technology, and looking forward to covering esports in our next episode.